some of you are familiar faces. So hello again, and to those of you I haven't met before, it's lovely to be here. Thanks, Lionel, for that lovely introduction. I did come to the centre courtesy of my book, and it is a pleasure to be here, and it's very nice to engage in the sessions that I do with people. We really like it. They're very personal conversational sessions. So if any of the topics that I raised today do interest you, then I encourage you to come along. They're not, we all just sit and chat really, and I try to engage the sessions with whatever is your level of interest. So I work from the perspective, work as in anything that I pursue with respect to human health. I pursue from the perspective that I believe that we are a naturally healing organism when we give ourselves the chance to be so. And I work under the banner of let nature be the doctor. So as much as possible, when I'm pursuing different areas of interest, that's the perspective from which I'm coming. And I actually have five ways that I look at human health. I drew this diagram up last year, and I do draw it up in most of my sessions because it gives you a perspective of where I'm coming from, and then I can show you how I break it down. So one of the areas that I consider from a human health point of view that is critical to us is nutrition, and not very many people would challenge that. Most people agree that nutrition at some level is important to us. Another activity that's important to us is physical movement, and there is so much at this centre about physical movement. So many choices that we can make as to the type of physical movement that we would like to be involved with. And the Qigong session earlier from Paul was just fabulous. I mean, you could just feel the energy growing as we did that activity. So just imagine what it's like when we feel that energy actually flowing through our bodies and how beneficial that is to our whole well-being. Another part of our wellness is our attitudes and beliefs. And there's an enormous amount at this centre as well about attitudes and beliefs. We've just had Paul speak about fear, so there's that again. But there's all sorts of attitudes and beliefs that actually impact on our well-being. Then we've got the environment, and this includes the air, the water, and toxins increasingly present in our world. And then the fifth one that I look at is the electrical fields of the body. And Qigong in its movement process is working with the meridians, which are the Chinese acupuncture. That we think of them as acupuncture points. They're the Chinese energy flow points, but there are actually 3 areas of the body that are electrical fields that are incredibly beneficial to our well-being. So I'm doing 3 different presentations at the centre. One of them is about nutrition, and in that I look at gut health and the immune system. Another one is about toxins and allergies, which are increasingly present today, and vaccinations, and how they work in with the immune system. This is the new one, and the way I approach it is to look at the way the title of it is Vaccinations, Friend and Foe. So there are some aspects of vaccinations that we can see they work beneficially to our body, and there are some aspects of them that are not helpful to our body. So I look at it from those 2 angles, and from the perspective of the immune system, and also how allergies have developed with regard to the immune system, and those are all connected in with toxins. And then the third one that I do is this one here, which is electrical fields of the body, and I do that with respect to my practice of vibrational medicine. And the perspective from which I present it here at the centre is how people who experience dyslexia and or anxiety and or depression, that can be as a result of the electrical fields of the body being not functioning at their optimal, some blockages in their electrical fields. And I'm quite sure that something like Qigong would be immensely helpful to many people in those situations. Interestingly, what drew my original interest into vibrational medicine was dyslexia, and my observation from I talk about this actually in my book, but my observation from a family member who experienced dyslexia, having had a correction of vibrational medicine with the energy systems of the body and the use of sound as well, seeing that dyslexia dissolve. And we are told that dyslexia is permanent and we just got to live with it, and it's just not true. And it can simply be, this was really quite revealing to me, that when our energy systems have been shocked in some way, either by a physical shock or a toxic shock or an emotional shock at some stage in our lives, or while we're in the womb, or we may have inherited them, or it may have been the birth process, any number of those things. Often the birth process can cause an electrical shock to the body, and this can create a shift in the skull bones. And very often people have difficult births. They have a physical shock. Their birth is a physical shock for them because that's difficult. They have to have forceps, or they have to have suction, or they have a cord around their neck, or all these different things that happen, and that can create a shock that can just minusculely shift the skull bones, and when they're minusculely out of alignment, they're putting pressure on the brain that is stopping the neural pathways from functioning at their fullest. And you can actually work directly with that, with vibrational medicine, and alter the left-right brain integration and readjust just through the release of the energy, which, when you think about that session that was given earlier on about how you can feel the energy just when you activate it like that, if you just release the energy and let it flow properly, it allows the skull bones to reposition. And it was quite amazing for me to see, and then I've since become a practitioner and been a practitioner for many years. And that same explanation that I give for the skull bones being a little bit out of alignment can also be true for anxiety, can also be true for depression. It can be because you've got this pressure happening on your brain that's creating an imbalance in the way the pathways function that can create that for you. So that's not to say that that is the only solution for these ailments that people suffer, but it can be a very beneficial underlying solution for people. And then I look a lot in the gut health and immune system workshop about the blood-brain barrier and leaky gut, and how the toxins and other things impact on the way our immune system functions, and how our gut microbiome, all those little bugs that run around in our gut that we used to think we were just, well, we didn't always, but some people thought we were just a sort of a physical body, but actually we've got all these microbiome running around inside us, and they are the ones that actually determine most of the messages as to our health. They're the ones that talk to our organs and tell our organs whether we're happy or whether we're not. And really there's an enormous amount of information in each of these, and I try to present them all just as a conversation with a lot of, just a lot of focused sharing to see if we can work out what it is that is of interest to you, what you've actually come along for. So if you have any particular questions on any of those three, I'd be very happy to.
You do that only on one lesson?
I'm sorry?
You do this one only on one time you come, on different times?
Different times, 3 different workshops at 3 different times. Yeah, so I have one on a Wednesday this time and one on a Thursday this time, and I've already done this one this time. So, yeah, so each of the 3 months I will present all of them at least once, and sometimes twice, just depending. Hi, Helen.
Hello.
All right. Thanks, everybody.